My beautiful community, welcome back to my channel. I am Coach Lilia Labonte. I am a narcissist abuse recovery coach for men. And in this video, I want to talk to you about how to maximize your chances of winning in court against a narcissist. And those of you who think that it's not going to get to court, yes, it will. Mediation is not going to work. I know that you think it will, but I really need you to take these pink shades off that you've been wearing for the past maybe 5 years, 10 years, multiple decades in your marriage. Because let's be real, every time you think that, oh, this good thing's going to happen, it doesn't. The narcissist backs out in the last moment. Before I continue, of course, if you guys like my content, which is mostly about narcissism, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And of course, like the video if you like this content. Now, when I say how to maximize your chances of winning, what is winning? Winning is actually simply minimizing the damage, financial, emotional, maybe physical, because they do love to destroy the physical property in the last minute. And understand that for you to really look at this objectively, you need to zoom out and you need to look at the facts, okay? Especially if you've been with this person for many, many years, and every time you see yourself going back to her, somehow reconciling, okay? Look at the years of nothing ever being different. And also, if you have children with this woman, it's going to be extra difficult because guess what they're going to weaponize? Your child or your children. So going to court against this person is going to be very painful. The most important thing for you is to relax and accept the worst possible case scenario because this is really going to minimize your anxiety as you're going through this process. You need to accept the fact that this will likely be dragged out for a year or two. And again, I know you're thinking, oh, we're going to go to mediation. She's agreeing to everything. No, they always back out last minute when you don't expect it, when it hurts the most. So understand that you may be stuck paying her alimony for many years to come, child support. You may have your children alienated against you. Again, there's no sugarcoating. You are going to war. Okay. And you need to understand that the more accepting you are of everything that might happen, the easier it's going to be for you because then if anything good happens, you're going to be like, okay, I was expecting and prepared for the worst. Okay. Let's talk about the 9 things that again will help you, will maximize your chances of proving your truth in court. Number 1, I want you to get a pit bull of a lawyer. Okay. And I know that right now you want to be ethical and you want to be the bigger person, the bigger man of the situation, but understand that if you get yourself a lawyer who has good values and who sees this as a normal couple that's splitting up, that maybe there's going to be some emotional distress, but these people still want to have the child's best interest in mind and they want to keep things amicable. No, you need a pit bull. I would rather have you work with a lawyer that's a narcissist that only cares about winning than work with somebody soft who doesn't understand what your soon-to-be ex-wife is going to be capable of. And I'm talking about lying with no remorse, saying the worst things about you, portraying you as an abuser, alienating your children against you, damaging your property, and so on and so on. Okay? Because the narcissist does not think that this is a fair game where you guys are equal. No, you have been her property. It's been a queen servant dynamic. And now the ship is sinking and she's going to try to punish you for it in every way possible. So get yourself a pit bull of a lawyer and please do not waste your time with a lawyer that doesn't understand your situation. Because what I see happen to a lot of my clients is that they're like, oh, this lawyer seems all right, where the lawyer doesn't really understand the situation. Then you pay them a retainer and then the lawyer doesn't do anything, okay? So it's better to move and sort them out very quickly. And it's best to, to find the reviews where they have worked with cases like this. Number 2, you do not disclose to the narcissist anything that you're going to do. Do you go, like if you're going to war, are you going to go to the other army's general and tell them your plan? No. So this is exactly what you need to do here. You keep everything down until you're ready to move out of the house, until you're ready to literally announce a divorce. And you need to have a place prepared. You need to discuss the temporary custody with your lawyer. And you need to make sure that you take all of your valuables out of your house. Not just things that are expensive, but things that matter to you because in case of her going through extreme rage, she may damage your property. This is not uncommon, okay? So again, do not disclose your plan because there's nothing to communicate. Once you're ready to get a divorce, once you have a lawyer picked out, all the communication should be done through a third party, period. You owe her nothing. Get that in your head. Number three, I really, really need to have you shatter the hope that this can be something that you wanted this to be, that somehow you guys can reconcile, that somehow you guys can go to couples counseling and it will help. It's not going to help. Journaling is going to help you. Just make a list of all the things that have been going on in this marriage, have a timeline, see the cycle. Okay. Did this ever change or did it progressively get worse? Did the actions ever match the words? No. So it's time to shatter the hope. You can stay in this relationship, you can keep hoping, but I'm telling you that nobody's going to give you the time back. How much longer are you going to wait? Another year, 5 years, or 10 years? How much longer are you going to stay under the same roof with this person? So please let that sink in. Okay, very importantly, I know this is not something that you want to do because you want to be the bigger person, but you need to have any sort of evidence on this woman. I mean, blackmail, if you want to call it that, but really just facts. If she's ever been neglectful to the kids, I'm talking about anything that you have documented, from weird rashes, her neglecting hygiene, her not changing their bed sheets, because all of this has happened to my clients before. Any sort of physical abuse that's documented. It would be really nice to have, if you have children together, to have them be in therapy so that maybe the counselor can later testify too, because they will typically pick up on any sort of parental alienation or how your child is behaving as they're being affected by whatever mom is doing to them, right? From neglect to abuse to maybe dismissing their emotions to maybe trying to manipulate them with guilt to using them as an emotional crutch. So it's really nice to have a third party that can testify in court if children are involved. Now, if you have documentation of her maybe blowing away your money, if you have like bank statements of how careless she can be, if you have any documentation of her being abusive to you, whether it's physically, emotionally, verbally, text messages, emails, threats, having security cameras in your house to make sure that she doesn't get you in trouble with the police, she doesn't say that you're an abuser, anything helps. You need to have everything documented, and it's not about being a smaller person in this and fighting dirty. It's about protecting yourself and having proof when you have to go to court. And when you say narcissism, it's going to be laughable unless it's really provable, because we don't live in a society where narcissism is taken as seriously as it needs to be. Because if you think about it, get this, okay? 6% of the population are diagnosed narcissists, and the other 4 are sociopath or psychopath, who are all narcissists to begin with. That's 10% of the population. That's 1 in 10 walking around there as a narcissist, sociopath, or psychopath. So this is a lot more common than we think, because how many of them are undiagnosed? So this does need to be taken much more seriously in court, but unfortunately, once again, it's not yet. So you need to have all the proof that you need, okay? And if you don't want to play dirty, understand that she will. So it's kind of like, who has the first foot in the door? If she goes out there and says that you're an abuser, and then later you will start to back out of it, who do you think the court is going to believe? The actress that's going to be crying on demand and lying on demand and will have a pit bull lawyer that's going to be backing up everything, or you, a man? So think about that. Please protect yourself. I have seen too many cases where the guy either ends up in jail or loses custody of the children or loses his house, even though they had a prenup. It gets ugly. So please don't put yourself in that position. Remember, right now, this is going to be a new ground, because there's so much shame that's going to be activated in her because you're finally taking the decision to leave her. And if every time you reconciled and backed out of it, you don't even know what's coming, you're not going to recognize this woman, because this is not something that you've done before, because you're still with her. Number 5, you really need to know what triggers her. Okay, so if you guys are in court, when you end up in court, and if you can say something that's going to activate shame in her, like having some proof, some documented proofs of her being neglectful or careless or abusive, understand that once you reach that threshold and she has a breakdown, you're really dealing with an angry toddler that's been cornered, because that's where that trauma is rooted. So if you can trigger them and get them to spin out, and then they're going to start lying, and maybe they'll start to back out of things, and they lose their credibility in front of the judge, then it's going to be a much better case for you to prove things, okay? Because once they lose their credibility, that's it, game over. Then everything else that they said is going to be looked at differently. So if you can trigger them, talk to your lawyer about it, because this is going to be a really, really good thing for your case. Now, this can be tricky, but if you can get a psychological evaluation and actually prove that you have been emotionally abused, that you have complex PTSD. This could be another really good thing for your case, okay? If you can actually prove that you are with an abuser. And another thing, I have some clients where they had a psychological evaluation for their wife. So the psychologist was basically observing the dynamic, how she's with the children, and so on and so on. But again, you need somebody who is going to understand narcissism, because a lot of the time this woman is going to be such an actress on demand that she will fool the psychologist. I have men that I work with that are married to narcissistic women who are psychologists, who are family counselors, who are marriage counselors. One is married to a Christian marriage counselor. Just understand how much cognitive empathy this woman has acquired to be able to manipulate everyone around her, and on top of that, be a marriage counselor. Think about that. Number 7, I already mentioned this to you guys. Please give up the idea of mediation. Mediation is not going to work even if it's promised to you until the last minute. So you do need to prepare for the very costly fees of the lawyer, the fight in court, because hoping that you guys are going to mediation and everything is going to be solved amicably, that's just going to set you up for this, false hope once again. So don't do that to yourself. Prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. Number 8, do not be afraid to switch your tactic. Also brought this up before. Don't be afraid to switch your lawyer if you need to. If you see that this person doesn't have your best interest, if they're too slow, if they don't understand narcissism, if they don't understand the level of difficulty of this, if they still question whether she's going to actually do X, Y, and Z like a narcissist, switch the lawyer. You need a pit bull. So whatever your tactic is, if this isn't working, if you need to become more aggressive, if offense is going to be your best defense, do it. Because once again, if you lose custody of your kids, if you lose most of your property, if you're stuck with huge alimony to pay, no one's going to thank you at the end of the day for being the good guy in the situation. Okay, period. I think you've been a good guy for long enough, trying to make this woman happy for years and years. And now you're stuck in this. Last but not least, number 9, I want you to relax into losing, quote unquote, because what is losing here? You're not losing because this woman doesn't get you at the end of the day. The supply is over. Okay. Once you see, you can't unsee. So no matter what happens, let's say that you lose your house, you have to move out to a condo, you're paying her so much money in child support and alimony. And let's say you even have a record now because she went ahead and said that you're an abuser and now you have a restraining order. So what? Now is your time to walk into your new chapter and to find yourself and to get your central nervous system under control, period. So there's no such thing as losing. Losing is staying with this person and letting them waste more of your life away, period. I truly hope this is helpful for you guys. I want you to know that you're not alone going through this. I work with countless men that are all going through the same situation. Same, but different, because once you see through these people, it's really just textbook. They are the most predictable people in the world. Their dynamics are the most predictable dynamics in the world. Once you see, you can't unsee, period. And if you need help navigating this, understanding this, I do one-on-one coaching, link to which you can find up in my bio. Okay? And I am wishing you guys so much love, presence, and a peace of mind. Remember, this is the beginning of the end. So congratulations. Take care.